Hey y'all, this is in reply to Mr. Pestleman1951 and Mr. Mrrickjitsu's 5 favorite points. And it took me a while, but I did manage to narrow it down to 5 points. Or 5 pieces anyhow. But it took me a little bit to think about which ones I wanted to put up, and I guess it's more of which ones meant the most to me. I know I'm leaving some out, but I didn't want to try to exceed 5, because I know how these videos can run on. But I'd say number 5 for me is this pestle here. This is the very first pestle I found, and the way I found it, a buddy of mine took me to a farm up in Lebanon, Ohio, which is a friend of his. He got me permission on it, and well, he's got some health problems, and he told me, he says, I'll tell you what, I'll take you up there, and I'll sit in the truck while you go out and look for a little bit. And I felt kind of bad leaving him sit there in the truck, and he assured me it'd be okay. So I went on out and found a little bird point right off the bat and rung his cell phone, let him know that I found something. He was tickled about that, and while I was out there, I got to feeling bad, or feeling worse about him sitting there. So I said, what the heck with it, I'm just going to head on up. Well, I hit the front part of the little field that was there by the truck, just a real quick run through it, and seen him kind of leaning back in the seat, and I said, well, I'm going to get over there. Headed towards it, and right where the grass hit the field, this pestle was laying right, part in the grass, part in the field. So that really tickled me, finding that for my first pestle. Then a buddy of mine that I've hunted with for quite a while, his name's Larry. Guy loves to hunt, loves to get out and get the exercise, doesn't know a whole lot about arrowheads or anything else, but he still likes to go. And thank goodness for me, everything he finds, he hands to me. He says, I don't collect rocks. I like looking for them, but you love them so much you can have them. We were out one day, and this is the very first point he ever found, or first piece he ever found. I happened to glance over towards him, and he's over there just rubbing like mad on this piece of something. I didn't know what it was. And I looked at him, I said, you got anything? Or I said, you got something? He says, yeah. He says, I got a rock. He says, I don't know if it's anything or not. He says, but it could be. So I get over there next to him, and he holds it out in his hand. And it's this little perforator. And I call it a dovetail perforator, just for the shape of the base. Unfortunately, there's no grinding on it whatsoever, but it's kind of dovetail shaped, and it's not got a chip out of it. He hands it to me, and he says, it's yours. And that was the very first piece he ever found. So that really meant a lot to me. Then I got a friend that lives out in Gibson County, Indiana, and he called me up one day and he says, I'm getting rid of my collection, just wondering if you wanted any pieces. And he sent me a few picks and told me to pick something out, and I couldn't believe this was in there because the man didn't charge me anything for it. But he said that he was plowing his garden, and he made a pass with the rototiller, and this come up on the side of the rototiller, so the blades didn't hit it whatsoever. But I hope the colors show up on this thing, because, well, I tell you what, it's just as red as can be, and it's got one heck of a white tip on it. But that's my third favorite. I wish I had a little more storied about that, but well, he did tell me he was going to make a belt buckle out of it, because that's what he does, is he finds unusual things in that and takes a piece of walnut and makes it in the shape of a belt buckle and inserts stuff into them, and he scrubbed this thing with a daggone scrub brush and comb it. And I'll tell you what, it's clean as a pin, but I trust the man for what he says, and I love the piece and never part with it. My second favorite piece is this axe, and I know a lot of people see me find this year. This is only the second axe I've ever found. It's everybody keeps telling me it's 7/8 grooved, but the reason that this axe means so much to me is we were hunting the field, and by we I mean there was Bevel Blade and Sonora Tim, Janine and myself. And you guys know how many rocks you flip over, and then to flip this thing over and see that groove in it, it just tickled me to death. And I tell you what, everybody else was just so happy when I found this thing. It just makes me feel that this almost belongs to them as much as it does me. But that little piece means a lot to me. But then for my favorite pieces, or my favorite points of all time, I just love Decatur's snap bases. And this one here, it come out of Hamilton County, Ohio, probably 6 or 7 years ago. Been in my case for a long time, but I mean, this thing is super thin, and got excellent flaking on it. Got the classic snap base on it, or fracture base, I'm sorry. And both wings have been clipped just a tiniest little bit. Not very much at all. But, yeah, I guess that's my top 5. I know I've missed out on a couple of them, or well, several of them, because there's been some points gifted to me that really mean a lot to me. But I hope you appreciate these as much as I do. Thanks for looking, and all your comments and that are really appreciated. And I hope everybody's doing great on their hunts. And I'll see you next video. Bye now.